always felt torn between two worlds, and almost even torn between two versions of myself. Having this authentic, real version of me, and then having this professional business side of me. And there was a disconnect. There was how I showed up with a client on a call, when we were talking, when I was networking. And that worked great for me. I was really great at in-person sales because I wasn't trying to sell. I was just trying to build relationships and ask questions. And that that worked for me. But every time I tried to write my website, every time I tried to create content, every time I tried to record videos, it's like a different side of me showed up. It's like I didn't know how to be human. I didn't know how to be myself. I didn't know how to be authentic because in my mind, that's not what worked. That's not what the world taught. That's not how you were supposed to lead. There were frameworks that you followed. You lead with the problem and you talk and you agitate the problem and you understand your ideal customer, and then you talk about the solution and you talk about your process and you talk about your credibility. And that's what I knew, and that's a rut that I got stuck in very deeply, because not only did I follow that formula when I wrote my website content, I followed that formula when I wrote every client's website I ever wrote. And that was a lot. That was a lot of websites. That was a lot of clients. That was a lot of stories of figuring out, okay, how do you write a lead generating, conversion optimized website landing page where you understand who the ideal audience is, you understand what their problems are, you understand the solution, you talk about the process, and then you lead them to the next step. And that is what I knew, and I got good at that. I was comfortable with that. I was safe in that. And it worked really well for my clients and their businesses, and I saw their leads and conversions go way up. But when I went to write my website and my story, I felt like a fraud. I felt like an imposter. I felt like I was doing it and I was following the formula and it should work, but inside it felt wrong and it ate at me. And so that led me to always going back and redoing it again and again and again and again. Only I always followed the same formula, the same framework, just different ingredients. And therein lied the problem, because that formula, that framework was not what God was asking me to do. That was not the way that I showed up in person. That's not the way I led within my conversations or in my business. That's just how I knew how to represent myself on a website. And within that specific business, I never knew how to extricate myself from that.